Thank you for tuning in to Trevor Talks Podcast, where we talk to real people about real topics and real stories. Today's guest is an inspiration for anyone who takes the time to hear his story. Coss Marte is the founder of Conbody, a fitness studio in New York City, where he hires other former inmates who have turned their lives around through fitness. He found his calling to help others break free from unhealthy habits when he was in prison after being incarcerated after being locked up for running a multi-million-dollar cocaine operation. Since the launch of his company, he's gained over 25,000 clients, supported many folks coming home from prison, and has been featured in over 200 major media outlets such as NBC, CNN, The New York Times, TED Talks, and Men's Fitness. Without further ado, man, I just want to get into this. Coss, thank you for taking time to be here with me today.
I appreciate it, Trevor. Thank you.
Of course, man. And so you were once the drug king and now you're the workout king. That's quite the transition there, man. How did that happen?
I don't think I'm the workout king, but
you're pretty close to it.
I'm pushing for it. Hopefully one day I could get there.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's been like we were talking before the recording, it's been a crazy journey. It's been a wild, roller coaster, up and downs, and I still have up and downs, and everything started from the streets, and now having the opportunity to do it legal, to both, I feel like I ran a business back then, and I'm running a business now. So the only difference that I'm doing is that I'm paying taxes now. So
and another thing you're doing is you were selling something that made people feel good, I would assume, cocaine. And now you're selling a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle to be exact. So when it comes down to it, working with over 25,000 clients and helping them better their life, that's you giving back. Like, you found this thing. How big were you when you got into prison? It was over 300?
I was 231.
231. Like,
very frank.
And I want to get into your story of how you broke that habit. I know you spoke to a physician and they were like, if you don't get it together, bro, you're going to die. But what did that story look like?
Yeah, when you go to prison, the first thing they do is take your blood test, check, they line you up with a whole bunch of inmates, and you just go see the infirmary and they take a whole bunch of blood tests, urine tests, all that stuff. And so, you're up there and you don't get your results back if you really don't hear from anybody unless something's wrong. And I think it was about a week in, I get a call back from the infirmary. I didn't have a cell phone or anything, but the officer, the guard that was in charge there, he sent me off to the infirmary with this older guy. This older guy was about 75 or so, and they sat us both and down, and they called each other one at a time, and they said they called me and it was like my cholesterol levels were through the roof, my blood pressure was through the roof, and if I didn't start exercising or eating correctly, that I could probably die within 5 years. And being sentenced to 7 years in prison, and being told you're gonna probably die in 5 years, it just woke me up. I didn't feel like I was gonna die tomorrow. I didn't feel like, I knew I was overweight, but I didn't feel that unhealthy where I was like, damn, I need to start moving. And the guy that went down to the infirmary with me, I remember, us walking back to the cell block, and he was telling me the same thing that they told him to say, but he's like 75, and so, he knows that his time is coming, and I'm just like, damn, I'm only 23 years old. I can't die yet.
Yeah. And you obviously had a whole lot that you had to do. So when it comes down to it, what did the process look like for you getting that message of you're going to die if you don't get it together? Did you start the next day, or how did you build that habit?
So I don't know. I went back to my cell, and when you're in your cell, nobody's watching. You do your own thing, so I'm by myself, and I started doing jumping jacks. As soon as I came back from the infirmary, started doing push-up. I just started thinking about how many push-ups can I do. I was dying. I think in 5 minutes, excuse my language.
No,
This,
you're good.
this is way too hard. I'm not doing this anymore. And I remember like just laying back in my bed and going to sleep. And then I remember they called rec. And so I went out to the yard the next morning, and when they called it, I just thought, I was like, I need to get out there. I need to start doing something. And so I went out to the yard and I started running. Like, people looked at me like I was crazy because I was running. I couldn't run. I was actually like running from one pole to the other, then walking to the next because I was so out of shape. And I just kept doing it, and I just kept moving, and eventually, I lost 70 pounds in 6 months. Just running, working out of my prison cell, or just doing it back and forth.
That's insane, man. Like 70 pounds, and they didn't have a weight. I mean, they probably had some weights out there, but you did all this with just body weight.
All body weight. Yeah, there's certain prisons with no weights, and so where I was at, there was limited equipment, and I don't know. I just felt like I just needed my body. I felt like God gave me everything I needed.
Yeah, and it obviously worked for you. You've trained over 25,000 people now. That's quite the transition. I can't even process, like, I can't process being in jail. I'd probably get killed on the first day. I'm not a tough dude like that. Like, it wouldn't be a good situation, man. But for you, like, you got this news, and a lot of people would have just went and just got emotional about it, but you just took a call to action and made it happen.
Yeah.
That takes a strong brain right there.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I just always operated that way. Whether it was the streets, I just always like put my mind towards something and just don't stop.
So how did the cocaine business start? How did all that go for you?
I mean, that started very early in my life. I don't know. I've been exposed to drugs since I was, since I could remember. I don't know. I like going up and down my building and just seeing like syringes and heroin addicts just standing and making lines down the block. That's what I seen. I mean, it was like a scene that I can't describe it, but it was reality for me. And some people think, that didn't exist, but it was a real thing, where you would see a line. I mean, literally like 50 people. Cops would not come, and you just see a drug dealer on the other side of the door, and just people going in and out. And that's what I remember seeing as a kid. And every 10 steps, I just saw like syringes on the ground, people shooting up. Especially down here on the Bowery, it was like heroin central. And so I got exposed to that very early, and I saw the people that was hustling on the corner, and most of them were family members, cousins, people that I looked up to, the guys that had chains and cars, and I remember at 11 I started smoking weed with them, and just hanging out on the corner more often, and then at 13 I just started selling drugs. I remember buying my like first ounce to sell at school, and I bought it for like $100, made like close to $300 off of it. And it was just like, as a 13-year-old, making like $300 in a week, I just felt like
that's more than some grown-ups make.
Yeah. And my mom, I mean, I was very money hungry. My mom was like, always, she always made it by, and I'm going to say like, she never left me like hungry. But, she couldn't get us anything else. I mean, I was wearing like she was getting hand-me-down clothes. I remember shopping on the, Salvation Army and all that stuff, so we struggled. And if I asked her for anything else, her number one excuse was just she couldn't afford it, so I got it on my own. And that's how I got into the drug world.
And so you started at a very young age. When you started getting money from selling the drugs and everything, were you able to take care of your mom a little bit more? I
just didn't ask her for anything, so I guess, when I was a kid, yeah, I didn't help her at all. I was like 13, 14, hanging out. I was making my own money. I didn't even have the mindset of like even taking care of somebody else. And I was just trying to show off with friends. But as I got older, and she needed anything, I hooked her up, and that was it.
So would you say you've always been an entrepreneur?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess a go-getter is an entrepreneur, a starter and a mover. That's an entrepreneur for me.
Dude, that's phenomenal. And on top of everything that you've done in your life, you're an author, you're a co-founder of Second Chance Studios, and you also provide free on-demand workouts for people to do from their homes, which is phenomenal. But the one thing I keep seeing that repeats itself is like you're taking care of people. When it comes down to it, all of the people that are working for you with Second Chance Studios and with Conbodies, they've been incarcerated at some point in their life.
Yeah, the majority of people that work at Conbody, Second Chance Studios, I have people that are helping me out with that that haven't been incarcerated, but the people that we're going to be helping through the program, all formerly incarcerated people.
Yeah, and a lot of companies will not hire formerly incarcerated people, so you took that business model and you flipped it around.
Yeah. I mean, I take nothing but formerly incarcerated people. Yeah. I actually put an ad on Indeed for extra trainers, and I got like people that weren't formerly incarcerated, and I'm sorry I discriminated.
That's your mission, though. It's almost like a ministry if you think about it. Like not necessarily on the religious front, but like you're helping people that nobody wants to help. Like I know for a fact that I don't know an exact statistic, but more than half of business owners aren't going to hire someone's formerly incarcerated because they're like, oh, they're going to steal money, they're going to steal this. But when you get out of jail, not for everybody, there's always going to be someone that gets out and just ends up back in. But a lot of people aren't going to hire specifically because they think it's going to be a problem for them. They don't think that like, oh, maybe they're born again. Maybe they don't want to go down that road. They're trying to get together. And you've seen that firsthand with your own life, and now you're seeing it over and over and over again with people that are working for you.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I came home out of prison, and like it was a struggle. Nobody wanted to hire me. Like, and Conbody was pretty much born out of desperation. It was an idea that I came up while I was in solitary confinement, but like nobody wanted to give me that opportunity, and so I had to get it on my own. And I know a lot of people that go back into the streets because like, they're left. I mean, they have a choice, whether, you go to a homeless shelter, you live off the government and live that way, or you go get it, on the streets, if nobody's going to give you that opportunity. So I feel like if you give people an opportunity, and I feel like the retention rate for somebody that's coming out of the prison system, they appreciate it way more. I have people that first day out of prison, they're working here and they haven't left, and I'm talking about 4 or 5 years of working here. And it's just incredible, like the dedication and honesty and just like the brother and sisterhood that we created here. The loyalty, that's the right word, the loyalty that they have. And I want to change that with other business owners, give people the story that, we have ran a successful business by hiring people coming out of the prison system and changing that whole perception. And I just feel like if people don't do that, then they might end up in the streets again. Unfortunately, things and temptations are hard. Some people get tempted and they see a limelight and a different way of living and they go right back to it. I know so many people that gone through that path.
When you got out of prison and you're like, okay, I want to start this gym, and just for everyone that's listening, the gym is kind of modeled after a prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all prison workouts. There's cells. Your employee photos on the website are y'all holding up mug shots, which is dope. Yeah. When you got out of prison, was it hard finding people to invest in and believe in you? Like, how did that process work for you, just getting out of prison?
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't find investors until it took me a very, very long time. I had to prove the concept. I was pitching investors left and right, VCs, all that stuff, and like, being walked out of the room, and I just didn't get any money, so I had to do it on my own, and it was I felt like I'd go into those rooms and I'd be discriminated, and a lot of people will be like, hey, why are you dealing with formerly incarcerated people? And, that's a liability. Same thing that, you brought up before. And that's what the investors were questioning me about. And so I've been running this company almost 8 years. It took me a very long time to, get somebody to believe. I think 6 years in, was the first investment that I got.
Wow. And when you got out of prison and you found it so hard to find people to invest and believe in you, for the people that are listening, that is going to be way more than the majority that have never been in prison, maybe they're business owners and they've never hired someone that's formerly incarcerated, what would your message be to them?
Give them a chance, give them a chance. I understand if like you're running a bank, you don't want to hire a bank robber, but like,
at the same time, they know all the ins and outs of the bank. They could be good security, man.
But, like if somebody got caught up, most of the people that are locked up, they got caught up with drugs or drug addictions, like, or have mental health issues, they shouldn't be in the system. And we shouldn't discriminate. We should give everybody an opportunity. And if they prove themselves right, I've hired time after time, and, majority, I think I've hired 47 people coming out of the prison system. I've only let go 2 people,
in 8 years.
Yeah. And it was not because they stole from me or did anything wrong. It was, for me, it was just like, I just had like punctuality, like issues with them. I like to, be on time and deliver a great product. If you can't meet that standard, then, I can't rock with you. But I still give people an opportunity. It's not like, you strike out one time, you're out. I give multiple shots over here, but give that person's a regular person. I just feel like really try to reflect on yourself. Have you ever been committed a crime yourself? Have you fought with your brothers and sisters or whatever? That's considered assault. Even if you do that little thing, imagine if. And most of the people that I've hired have gone in at 16, 17 years old and done 20 years in prison, and come out and it's just, they're not their 16-year-old selves anymore. They're grown-up adults that want just to readapt into society.
I love that so much, man. And where can people find you and get your book and all that good stuff?
Yeah, you could check me out at conbody.com, on Instagram at Conbody. That's CONBODY. You could get my book on Amazon. It's called Conbody. Just check me out, man.
Man, I love that so much. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Y'all go check them out at Conbody. And there's also free on-demand videos that you can get and try to get your Conbody today. Coss, thank you so much. Again, it's been a privilege, and I'm super thankful you took time out of your day to join us.
No, I appreciate it, Trevor. Thank you so much.
Of course. And we will talk to you guys next week.